Hi, everybody. Welcome to Capital to the Coast BNI. My name is Mike Manning. Each week, we bring you a local small business success story from one of our 40 plus chapters in the Triangle region and the coastal region. And that stretches from Raleigh, Durham, and Chapel Hill in North Carolina, the Triangle, all the way to Wilmington and cities along the coast. And if you're not familiar with BNI, it is Business Networking International, the world's largest networking organization. And our job each week as a fellow member is to help other members grow their business. And we do not have a guest today. And so you get me today, but we've got a wonderful topic. So it is October 13th. And we're going to talk today about staying ahead of the season. So if you're a business owner or a sales professional, most of your competitors have probably rolled out their holiday themes and products and services. And I always ask people about August 1, who's a big fan of pumpkin spice latte? And of course, in a room, 20, 25% of the hands go up. And I always ask, well, what season is pumpkin spice latte attached to? And usually people say the fall, Thanksgiving, stuff like that, which is the answer I'm looking for to make my point of, then why is it out in the stores now? In August, July, you could start seeing advertisements, start seeing stuff in Target and all these folks that make their pumpkin flavored anything because they're getting ahead of the season. So it's October 13th. If your current clients and future clients don't know what your products or services are for the holidays, they're probably listening for someone who does offer that and has that out there and has told them, we do this. So please give us a call. We can help you. Because we're at the point now where most people have made plans for the holidays. They may not have narrowed down the exact travel dates, but they know where they're going. So usually they're either hosting or visiting. So if they're traveling and you're a travel agent, have you sent a note out to everybody, hey, before you make your travel plans, give me a call, I can help you. Because you as a business professional, you may not think you have a season, but your clients do have seasons. So how do you get ahead of their seasons or your seasons? So that's what we're going to talk about we're going to look at some 90-day rules and triggers and activities to get started. So again, if you're a business professional, are you ahead of the season? So the first thing to talk about is, do you understand your seasons? You may or may not think you do, but your customers do. We're talking travel, we're talking back to school, things like that. We're going to get into a little bit more. So what kind of marketing do you need to do to get ahead of that and let them know? So we see a couple of common mistakes with business professionals. One is they wait too long to launch their product or services. So if you wait till January to promote the new year, new you, motivational, working out, anything like that, start the new year, it's a little late because you'll start to see, and I know this drives a lot of people crazy when we go, if you notice national advertising. So back in the day, when I was growing up, and people likely my age, which I'm a baby boomer, Halloween was strongly promoted. And then when Halloween was over, then the retailers went to Thanksgiving. And then they went to Christmas. Now, I mean, you see Thanksgiving stuff up long before holidays gone. So they're trying to get ahead of their customers. Don't wait too long to have yours. They react. So a lot of business owners don't look up until the sales are slow. So again, one of your seasons could be your slow season. And how do you generate sales, relationships, service contracts, anything like that for your slow season? You may have a busy season. How do you hang on through that? How do you do marketing through that? Because at that point in time, you don't need marketing. But if you know your busy season is summertime and your slow season is the fall and the holidays, are you doing anything in the summertime to make people start thinking about holiday plans? We need to warm up our audience. We don't have to roll the plan out yet, but we can kind of start telling them with some teasers, hey, check out our new holiday product. And again, kind of have fun teasing that on social media, things like that. But there needs to be an understanding of what your seasons are. So, one of the things we're going to talk about are getting into habits. So, what will your customers need in the next 90 days? So, that'll be, let's say, that'll take us November, December, middle of January. So, January 13th. So, what will your clients, let's look at the new year. So, what do your clients need starting at the new year? Um, do they need presents for something? New Year's Eve, are they making plans for New Year's Eve? Are they traveling somewhere? Are they hosting people? Do they want to have a big New Year's Eve party? They may need a caterer. They may need their carpet cleaned. They may need things around their houses. So, are you looking at that? And again, that time of year, what do you want to be selling? You know your products and services. You should know when they're at their peak of being purchased from you. So this goes back to rule number one is you got to know your business. Do you, and having a good month is not understanding your business. If you say, wow, a month's been good, I'm just going to keep doing whatever I did. That's not a good understanding of your business. You need to know why it was a good business. Where was the money coming from? Was it a new product you rolled out? Was it the same product for the last 13 years that you just keep promoting correctly? Why was it a good month? But if you don't look at your numbers to understand where everything's coming from, it's going to be a problem of you understanding, okay, how can I adjust? How can I tweak this? How can I make sure that the busy seasons peak a little bit more, but then I also make sure am I planning for the down seasons? So again, staying ahead of the season. So one of the things we can talk about also is um, you have to, let's say you've got a product for the new year and you need to order it ahead of time. You need to know the lag time on it. Is it coming from overseas? Are there, are you still having fulfillment issues from overseas? If it's not, if you're ordering domestically, are they getting more orders? Do they have less supply of that to send to you? So when did you start figuring out, talking to your vendors about, hey, this is what we do for the new year. I need to order 750 of whatever it is. And did you wait and call them in October, or did you get in touch with them in June or July? And then do you need to train your staff for seasonal products or seasonal services or anything like that? So again, these are habits we're going to start. So one of the homework assignments today is, all right, so 90 days from today, and we'll cut a few days off of that, say it's the new year. Have you started doing anything of that to plan, okay, here are the services and the products, and you can break each year into 4 quarters. So January, February, March is quarter number 1, April, May, and June, quarter number 2, and so on. And look at each quarter, what are the products or services? What are our clients buying? Whether it's a peak season for us or not, is it a peak season for our clients? So, but again, starting to understand the seasons in your business. So, all right, let's look at a couple different industries. The retail industry, we know they're driven by holiday sales. So we've got not only Christmas, not only New Year's, but don't forget Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Now, not huge days compared to the all of Christmas or all December season, but still a big deal. Are you involved? Is your business involved in back to school? So we're talking clothing, we're talking school accessories, electronics. Are you involved in that? So and sometimes as business owners, we forget to put our consumer hats on. So if we've got kids in school, So I've got my grandson Oliver's in second grade, and I know when his parents start buying stuff for him to start school back in August or first week of September, I think is when they started. So when do you start buying that? Do you wait and go to Target the day before and just hope there's still stuff there? Or do you know you need a new backpack, maybe a new pair of tennis shoes, some new clothes, stuff like that? Kids grow year to year. So do you doing all that? Are you waiting or do you start in June? Do you start in July? Do you wait for September? So again, the back to school season is a big deal. If you're involved in that, that's roughly August and September. Are you starting to prepare for that in late June or late July? Spring fashion season. I found this one. This applies to me and Amnon because we're very good dressers, very stylish. We wear things that match. I think this tan and red match. I don't know. As soon as I got here, I realized I don't know. I think it does because I think my wife would have said something. I've worn it before. So that's spring and summer new lines for clothes and stuff. If you're involved in that, if you're a digital marketer and you have a client that promotes that, are you talking with them at least 90 days out, if not more? Travel and hospitality world. So we're coming up on one of those seasons, and that is the holiday season. Most people I know were going to see my wife's side of the family for Christmas, and all of that was booked, was discussed, resolved, and put into place in early August. We bought our plane tickets. So that's how far out we prepared. So if you're in that travel world in, summer vacations, June, July, and August, and they could be domestic vacations, they could be Caribbean vacations, whatever. When are you starting to remind your current and future clients that they're going to need to talk to you to take advantage of summer travel? Winter holidays. I'm not a skier. There are plenty of people that are. I'm more along the lines of it's wintertime. I'd like to go to a summer destination. So that's when I go to the Caribbean, or that's where I go this place because it's warm. Family travel. Again, the holidays coming up. If you've got kids, I know when our kids got older, they got married, we had to start negotiating with 3 different families. Okay, so we know we have our son and their families on this Thanksgiving and our other son on Christmas, and then the next year they switch. So we got all that done, but everybody had to prepare for everything like that. If you're in the agriculture and food world, how about holiday demand for food and products and stuff? Thanksgiving coming up, Christmas coming up. If you're in Easter, um, the tax and financial world. You ever tried to talk to a CPA after January 2nd? Going to be difficult. So if you're in that world, I need to have my books cleaned up and I need to have my taxes prepared to be filed. When do you call me to start thinking of that? Do you wait till January 2nd? Hey, Mike, send me your stuff. I need to clean your books up because all of your clients are going to be that busy then. So, what do you call and ask me to prepare for to make your life easier, my life easier, and the transition to make your filing my taxes smoother? I can't, obviously, it's October, middle of October right now. I can't send you a lot of stuff, but what can I send you? What could I prepare to do? Are we talking about anything on my taxes smooth by the end of the year so I pay less taxes? Where could I move money so I pay less taxes? I mean, that the tax code is the tax code, but there's ways to get around it to benefit you. So are we having those conversations? Because after January, I think it's too late to do things like that. I'm not gifted on all that on that whole world, but I think there are some deadlines for that. So if you're in the real estate world, you're a realtor, especially. We've always known summer times are peak buying and selling times. Kids are out of school; they have time to figure out do they want to move and start at this new school instead of shifted on that whole world. But I think there are some deadlines for that. So if you're in the real estate world, you're a realtor, especially. Ooh, what kind of things for your business can you do during your slow season? A lot of times, the home services folks will call and say, hey, or recommend, we'd love to get you on a maintenance program. So let's look at the HVAC world. We know those things can cost 10 to 15, $18,000 if you have to, depending on the size of your house, to get your whole unit replaced. But if you go on a maintenance plan where they come out once a quarter, whatever it is, to make sure everything's still running, that may buy you 2 more years on your HVAC unit. We can talk about pest control. A lot of times in the winter, everybody's trying to get in your house because they're looking for warmth or they're looking for food. So a lot of these animals, cockroaches, they're coming inside. They're in search of something. So are you talking about that with your clients for their slow season or your slow season? Fitness and the wellness world. Yes, everybody has a New Year's resolution. And we all plan to break all three of them every year because I don't know that I know anybody that has bragged about hitting their New Year's resolution in July or August, right? Don't know. But so you're going to see in gym memberships, you're going to see diet plans being promoted, you're going to see equipment being purchased. So are you ahead of that? If you're in the nutrition world, are you telling everybody on December 20th your nutrition plan to help them start off the new or have a good first quarter, or are you rolling that out in October? You want to teach me how to think of the services you provide me. That's really what we're doing. Is you're training me as your client how to think and when to bring you into the equation. And a lot of times we just hang on and we wait for the phone to ring. We don't find reasons to make the phone ring. So, how are you training your clients, current clients, and future clients to be thinking about you and how you can help them and when's the right time to purchase all of that? Speaking of fitness, a lot of people, I've never had this problem because I never had one, but a lot of people want to prepare for their summer bodies. So when they go to the beach, they look good. Never had that problem because never had a good enough body to show anybody. So I know back in the day, I don't know if you can say this now, but back in the day, so this would have been early 70s. I was born in 61. So the early 70s, I was 10, 11, 12, 13 years old, and I had to shop in the husky section. I don't believe you can say that now, but I did. So summer bodies, yeah, wasn't anything I ever thought about. I just tried to stay in best shape I could and usually wear a T-shirt. I swam in the summertime, and thankfully, I've never really cared much about what other people say. So, but anyways, that's one of the things. So those are all kinds of seasons that industries have, but you've got to stay ahead of the season because most of your competitors probably are. And I think if you'll really start looking uh, for a couple places to find out if your competitors are, or maybe a good idea. So look at all the flyers you get in your mail, and it can be for anything. Okay. And then go online and search holiday, whatever, or New Year resolution, or whatever you want to do. Go search that and see what comes up. And you may get a good idea of your industry, or you may find out one of your competitors locally already doing something, and are you behind them? So, again, staying ahead of the season. So, we talk about business owners usually looking at things by, can I pay my bills? And am I hanging on? Are we still, because goal number one is always keep the doors open. That's always goal number one of a business. But do you see a spike in your sales or a spike in phone call? What made that happen? Did you roll out a marketing plan, or is it just the season that your clients are calling you to ask for something? That's why you have to know your business. And again, let's talk about the slow season here. So if you have a slow season, it's probably the same time every year. And are you doing anything to make that a dip in the road instead of a valley. So one of the things we can think about is during the peak season, did I stop marketing? And a lot of small business owners, especially if summer's their busiest season, we've talked about this before, but they stop marketing because the phone's ringing off the hook. Now, do not ever stop marketing. You may have to tweak it some to survive the tough times because you're busier than usual. You may have lost an employee, so you're back out in the field, which you weren't planning on. But what are you doing during the busy time to set up opportunities for the slow season? So why is your season slow, and what could people still be buying from you during that? And again, they may not buy the product, but we talk maintenance plans, stuff like that. When do my customers start preparing for big milestones? May not be a peak season or big milestone for you, but maybe it is for them. So again, you put your consumer hat on. What kind of things do you celebrate? What kind of things do you prepare for? Anniversaries, birthdays, whatever. But when are your clients having a peak season for them that they're busy and they need this or they need that? So we talked about industry events. What if one of your big seasons, a lot of bigger companies go to a lot of trade shows, and there are trade show seasons? Are you part of that? Are you planning for that? Or do you call up your printer one week out? Hey, Jimmy, I need a banner. Oh, Mike, I wish you would have called earlier. We are slammed. So are you even preparing for that? It's kind of like going on vacation. Most families have a checklist, kind of work backwards from, okay, this is the day we're leaving. So before we leave, we need to do this, this, and this. You need to buy anything before you go. Are your hotel arrangements made? All of that. It's a checklist going into one of your seasons. So here are a couple other types of seasons to look for. So again, we talk about revenue seasons. When are your peak seasons? When are your down seasons? Marketing seasons. If you're busy on social media, when do you get your most engagements? Do you know what months each year you get your most and least engagements with things you post? Um, Operational seasons. When are you too busy to take on new clients? And again, we talk about the folks in the financial world, the CPAs. We know their happiest day is usually April 16th because at least taxes have been filed. And most of the clients that aren't filing have filed for an extension. And then they settle down after the 15th for a few days, and then they go on a long vacation, which they've earned. But do you have operational seasons where you don't take on any new clients? And how do you prepare for that? So when is your team stretched too thin? You have to hire temporary people. Everybody you hire doesn't have to be a W-2. You can make them a 1099. You can go to a staffing agency. Hey, I'm going to need 2 people in July for this. I need 2 every day. And they may just be truck guys where they just unload stuff on and off the truck for your carpet cleaner, you're a painter, stuff like that. You don't need anybody to paint, but I just need somebody to be able to drive a truck and unload and load stuff up there. Planning and reset season. Do you plan it all or do you hang on? That's one of your seasons as well. It may not have anything to do with making more money, but again, 90 days out, are you planning for the upcoming season? Are you planning for the new year? Do you have a health program? Do you have some people wait till the first of the year to buy stuff? Let me get through the holidays. Let me see if I max out my credit card, see what I got. We're gonna do that first of the year. Do you talk to them about what they have going on? All right, so here's the homework assignment. Here's what we're gonna work on. So we're gonna build a habit. And this is for every 90 days. You can just rinse and repeat. So the first thing is you want to block 1 day or 2 days each quarter for some planning. And maybe you don't have 2 full days to do this. So you're going to break that up. So what's coming in the next 90 days for my business and potentially my clients' peak seasons? One of your clients may be a florist. Well, Mother's Day and Valentine's Day, peak seasons for them, not for you, but how can you help them? How much would they appreciate it if you called and to help them planning for something? So, what are your goals? Do you want to grow revenue? Do you want to maintain? What do you want? And don't throw out a number just to throw out a number. Oh, we want to grow 10%. Our busy season is the first quarter of the new year, and we want to grow by 10%. Okay, why did you come up with 10%, and how are you going to do it? What's your plan? Are you going to market more? Do you have a new product? Do you have a new service? What does my audience, my client base, my future client base need in the first of the year? All right. So they're probably going to need a new plan. So now's the time to start putting plans together. A lot of people start off the new year again. We laugh about New Year's resolutions, but there's a number of people that use that as a reset. So if those are your clients, what are they resetting? Do you know what they need? What kind of relationships do you have with your client? What should I be doing right now to prepare? If you have products, you better start preparing now. Do I have enough inventory? Do I know when it's coming? I've already ordered it. Do I know when it's coming? What's my plan if it doesn't show up in time? Everybody needs a plan B. Everybody needs a plan B. So, do you need to staff for the new year? Do you need to finalize the new system you've got coming out? What are you doing? What are you planning for right now? So we're going to create 1 to 2 priority campaigns to tell people what our product or service is for that season. We got to tell them what it is. We've got to remind people they need to hire us to accomplish their goals. So that's part of the reason you market, is to remind people, hey, we got the new year coming up. Well, wouldn't it be nice to start the new year this way or with this? So we're going to look ahead 90 days. What's coming up in your business? Is there a big opportunity or natural slow season? So go back. So we're halfway through October. Um, Go back and look at 2025 and look at your peaks and valleys. Where were they? Did you know that's when they were, or have you forgotten about February and March because it's already mid-October? And again, plan backwards. What needs to happen this month to make that quarter successful? Again, you got to plan ahead as a business. You got to know what's going on, so you can find new clients, tweak a product or service that may be underperforming, but you know it's a good one, but we haven't figured out how to maximize that yet. Create a promotions calendar. How am I going to get the word out? When am I going to start? What's the product? What am I going to say about it? And who am I going to tell that to? You got to know who your ideal clients are. Otherwise, if you're talking to everyone, you're talking to no one. And we talk about elevator pitches all the time. If you stand up and ask for, I want to meet anybody that travels. Yep, you need to do better than that, because I might travel different than your next door neighbor who has 2 kids in grade school. We may travel different. So you don't want to meet anyone that travels. You want to meet people that travel to places that you're good at booking and you can make some money off of. Traveling to some people's going to the mountains for a long week, and they go online and they find an Airbnb or something like that, and they book it on their own. So you're not looking for people that book their own travel, but you didn't say that. In your elevator pitch said, I want to meet anybody that travels. Now, you want to meet people that travel that don't book their own travel. You're a travel agent. You want to make that very clear, because there are some people, and you know them, I can find us a good hotel going on a cruise. I can get on Disney's website or uh, Caribbean cruise, yeah, cruise lines. I can find all that, right? But at the end of the day, if something goes wrong, who do they call? So if they have a travel agent, they're going to call you, but you're going to solve all their problems. That's why they're going to use you again. You call a company, you may or may not get a human being if there's a problem. So reach out now. So if you're planning a push in January, start warming up those current clients for what you have coming out. So staying ahead of the season, that's the theme from today. And if you're a business professional, you've got a season. You have multiple seasons. You may not know it. So your job is to write all those down, even if they're for 3 weeks. It's a valuable 3 weeks. That could be a season. It does not have to be 90 days to be a season. But you need to figure out when all of your seasons are, and then when all of your clients' seasons are that are important to you to help them so you can make more money. And then put a plan together. Always work 90 days out. Always stay ahead of it. So you got my email on here, openmictalk@gmail.com. You got my phone number on here. Give me a call if I can help. But if you're a business owner or a business professional growing a book of business, you need to stay ahead of the season. So I thank you for hanging out with me today. Hope you learned something there. But again, we're here to make money. So let's figure out how we can make more of it. And we'll see you next time on Capital to the Coast BNI.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com and DeltaForce.net.